think a lot of this show, if you look at it too close, the seams fall apart. So just
Correct.
like look at it from afar, much like in Clueless, it's like a Monet. Welcome back, everybody, to And Just Like Yap. I'm Caroline.
I'm Andi.
And we are here to talk about the pilot of All's Fair. I couldn't be more excited. Andi, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. What a gift this show is.
I am thrilled to have a show where we just get to turn our brains off, and I could not tell you what's going to happen from scene to scene.
The whiplash has been thrilling so far.
Which is amazing. And I think before we even get into the show, we have to start with the fact that, like, it's been critically panned across the board. Lots of people were raving it because it was at 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't know that I've ever really seen that before.
I don't know that I have either, actually, and it was at 0% for a while.
I know.
It's now at 6, which I'm kind of disappointed.
I know. When I took my screenshot last night, I was like, oh man, it's not 0 anymore. But because honestly, that's kind of it takes a lot to get 0%, and that also makes me think critics can't have fun anymore. But
clearly not.
This is from the Hollywood Reporter. They essentially said it's the worst TV show of the year. It's unforgivably dull, fascinating, incomprehensibly, existentially terrible, ripe for hate watching, and that sounds like a perfect show for it, Just Like Yap.
Yeah, that's like right up our alley.
So I can't wait for you all to join us along this ride, whether you're just watching our recaps or if you're watching the show and then coming back for our recaps, and either way. So I think we got to get into it. Let's just
let's do it.
Yeah. So the pilot starts with, it's 10 years ago. Now, in general, we kind of don't know present day. Is it 2025?
It's very unclear, and I will say the 10 years ago, I'm like, it seems like more than 10 years ago.
Correct.
But we're living in Ryan Murphy's hell. It's really where we are.
We're in Ryan Murphy's reality, and it is something else, certainly. 10 years ago, whatever that means to you, we're met with a bunch of old men around a round table that are all like, jacking each other off, talking, about
classic
men around a boardroom talk. We cut to Kim and Naomi 10 years ago, aka Alora Grant and Liberty Ronson.
Yeah, it's just a moment for the names.
Just a moment for the names. And they're having a side conversation while the men are talking, saying they don't take divorce law or women seriously. And Naomi says, I'm telling you, it's time. Now, here's I thought also that we don't know what time period this is, because I was like, this doesn't even look like 2015. This looks like 1995.
Yes, I was having the same thought, and it only gets more 1995 and maybe 1985 from here based on the hair and costume choices. Yeah, I also had the same confusion. Overall, we'll talk about this. Things like aesthetic and tone of the show are part of what makes it so bad and hate watchable, and delightful, and this is one of those things.
Yeah. And they cut to, they're having this conversation, and we meet Dina Standish.
Margaret Thatcher. Dina Standish.
You're not wrong. It's the head of Meryl Streep and the Iron Lady, fully transplanted onto Glenn Close. And with her pussy bow, I feel so bad for Glenn. They're putting her nonstop pussy bows on this show. And
they really are.
And it's like, guys, she's Glenn Close. Can we give her, I understand she's supposed to be a woman that's their mentor, but we can also zhuzh her up a little bit.
Yeah, they're giving her woman of a certain age costuming in a very rough way.
Very mother of the bride, mother of the law firm. We get this insane voiceover where she's like, I knew you wanted to start a law firm even before you realized it 4 months ago. I was like, what on earth is this flashback voiceover that we're getting? And we cut to, I think, this meeting that we saw a second ago. She's like, I've seen your faces in those meetings. I was the token woman here only for a decade. Okay, this is also the question mark of wait, what year is it? Because there's no way she's the only woman lawyer if she was brought on in 2005. Don't look at it too close. I think a lot of this show, if you look at it too close, the seams fall apart. So just
Correct.
Look at it from afar, much like in Clueless, it's like a Monet.
I was gonna make the same reference.
Yeah.
As usual, our brains are twinned poison.
Twin poison, two brain cells working very hard side by side. So just, again, in general, don't look at the show too closely. Like, honestly, we've had enough of the HBO Sunday night dramas, and I love them. But I'm thrilled to have a show that is, like, this insane.
Yes, with this many prestige people in it, and
Yes.
it's this bad. Like, I love it. I really love it.
It's what we've been missing. And we find out, like, until she hired them, she was the only woman there. Again, very confusing. And Dina gives them her blessing, and she says, all I ask is you start your own firm. Immediately, there's like this like funny music they use underneath throughout the show that sounds like very inspirational, and they use it for like 5 minutes. It's like dun dun. And she's like, women representing women only, and it's like this whole thing. It's like great. The girls are off. Women representing women, and she says you can take one person with you, and we meet Emerald Green. And we meet her, she's on the phone with her triplet sons, yelling at them, and they're like, we want to take you with us. She's like, but I got a good thing going on here. They're like, yes, but in 5 years, you're going to be a multi-millionaire.
They also say that they're going to make her partner and lead investigator. I was like, isn't that like a detective thing? But I guess like law firms have... This show is funny because it's made me look up how the law works, even though this show is not even remotely how the law works.
I know.
But yeah, they're going to be their lead investigator and also a partner in the firm, which is an offer that she can't pass up.
Well, I think more my confusion, because I knew from as a former Good Wife stan, still forever Good Wife stan, they had like their own internal investigator, but I was confused by that she would have her name in the partnership, because that's normally restricted to the lawyers.
Right. Again, though, like one of the things we should not look too closely at.
And then we meet Carrington Lane, very reminiscent of like Dynasty, because that was like Alexis Carrington was her name on the show. And I did see a few people say online, it feels like she's still acting like Linda Tripp from the impeachment show that she did with Ryan Murphy in this role a bit, because she is very scorned from the beginning. Everything is like, Carrington is like, it's scorched earth. She's upset to find out she's apparently the other woman at the firm that's also that's a lawyer, probably like a junior partner, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
She's like, you're leaving, and is like so upset that like she's not the one that they would choose. She's like basically begging them to take her and just like every ounce possible. And they tell her, they're like upfront, like, you've never learned to be human. And then she's like, well, fine, you're going to be terrible. And they're like, but Dina already gave us her blessing. They're just like chopping her off like the giving tree, like cutting her off at the knees. It's like, okay, well.
They're actually quite, like, this scene kind of confused me because I was like, they're being like pretty mean to her. They also make the joke that like she steals their lunches out of the fridge, which of course would piss me off, but like,
of course,
it was clearly just a throwaway joke. They're being like really mean to her. It's kind of like High School Mean Girls, and I don't know, I'm like almost on Carrington's side at this point, because I'm like, what is their like real problem with her? But then obviously we learn a little bit more about her and what her personality is like.
Exactly. Like at this point, we're empathizing with Carrington a bit, and we cut to her talking to Dina about like, I'm your fucking protege. I'm the hardest worker. And Carrington says she's going to start her own firm, and Dina's just like giving her the tough love of like nonstop. She's just like, grow up, Car. It's time. And there's like this a model of the Mayflower that Carrington throws on the ground and shatters as she's exiting. She's like, having me as an enemy is very unwise. It feels like very rich lady, the like rage rooms, but instead it's like rich antiques that you get to toss and break.
Yeah, you're just in somebody's like study. Yeah, there's like a weird amount of Mayflower jokes in this show. Maybe only 2, but like 2 seems like a lot.
Yeah, like Puritan. There's a Puritan joke later.
Yes.
Yeah. And we get to the best needle drop of all time.
Oh my God, I love this song.
The minute I heard that doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, I was like, I know, baby, we're getting some lovely, like, nice LA B-roll. Kim is in her, whatever fancy car she's driving. I had to screenshot the friends say I'm crazy because easily I fall in love, because that feels like a tongue-in-cheek lyric towards Kim and this character.
Also, to your point about cars, there's a lot of wealth in the show, and one of the ways people perform wealth is cars. And I just want to state for the record, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this, I don't know a single fucking car by visual alone.
No.
So I will not be able to be like, and then this, I don't fucking know. I don't know what any car looks like. They all just look like cars to me.
And we pull up to Kim's insane selling sunset house. I tried to look up, like, where in LA these houses were, but, like, there were no official, like, filming locations. I don't know. Looked like a haunted house. Like, from, like, the... I never understand that people, like, with a certain amount of money, they get these houses that are, like, nonstop windows like that. There's just no privacy. I don't know.
I know.
It feels so sterile. I don't understand it. We walk... There's a man who's, like, a butler telling her husband's en route, and she does, like, this, like, huge walk. The chef also looks like the butler, and we go into her closet that looks like an Aritzia. Have you been to Aritzia? It looks like
I
Aritzia.
have not personally been, but I'm familiar, and I trust what you're saying.
I've only walked through them, like, twice, because I don't know. I understand, I love and respect and fear the women who can wear Aritzia, but I think that I know it's there's like a certain, like, personality. It's like the Pilates girls that are there at 5 a.m. Like, get ready with me 5 to 9 a.m. It's a tough crowd.
And I kept having the thought during this sequence, I was like, Kim K is this wealthy, if not probably more wealthy than this character. So it was just kind of like, it's kind of surreal to see her performing this level of wealth while also, like, knowing this this person who's acting has this level of wealth and possibly even more wealth. So it was just like, I don't know, it just felt very surreal.
It's very that meme of the woman with the math equations going around her head.
Yeah.
Where does Allura end and Kim begin? Who's to say? There's our first Birkin watch. There's our first Birkin of the episode. Sat in the middle area of what I'm assuming there's, like, millions of dollars of jewels underneath the Birkin.
Very likely, yes.
And she's getting ready for dinner. And this is where, okay, I texted Andi. I have a theory. We're pulling a lot from not Sex and the City, but Sex and the City, the movie. And and this dinner sequence, I was like, oh, very interesting. This is very Samantha and Smith Jared coded when she made the sushi and is, like, naked. But instead, of course, she had a chef do this. And she tells him, like, you're late. And she's wearing this, like, gorgeous cream gown, like, dripping in diamonds. And she's like, it's our anniversary.
This is the outfit she threw on after coming home from the office.
Again, when you have people to make dinner and make the rest of your life easier, this is what you can wear to dinner. I'd dress like this at dinner if I had that kind of help.
Yeah, if someone was taking care of everything else, sure.
Sure, why not? And we meet Chase, and Chase is also Smith Jared coded.
Yes, 1,000,000%.
Like, but also, he could never be Smith Jared. He will never be Smith Jared. Smith Jared is an angel and a saint. But this man, the way they, like, have his hair slicked back, the way they have him dressed, it's very, like, that, like, he's coming in. But we find out he's a football player pretty quickly. So he's not an actor like Smith Jared was. But he's like, oh, fuck me raw, baby. Just because he forgot that it was their anniversary. He forgot.
Yes.
And we find out he got her this diamond ring that's insane in, like, Tiffany blue, and it belonged to Elizabeth Taylor.
The way this line was said, I mean, there's so many lines like this in the show, but it was just like, the way this line was said, it was just so, I mean, like, people have said Kim's performance is pretty wooden was the word that was used overall, which is not untrue, but, like, you also can't fully fault her because some of the lines that she was given to say, I don't know how anyone, even, like, Meryl Streep herself, could casually say, didn't this belong to Elizabeth Taylor?
I know.
It was very, I thought the old lady threw it in the ocean at the end of the movie.
Well, babe, I went down and got it for you. Aw, you shouldn't have.
Oops,
fun fact, I won a karaoke contest at a Taco Bell for my radio station singing Oops, I Did It Again. And that's how
At a Taco Bell?
Yeah, and I got my first tickets to see Britney Spears in the 7th grade and had sound check passes and floor seats.
Wow, what's it like to have the rest of your life be a disappointment? What's it like to have peaked that early?
for me and Brittany. And then we get this like wild shot where they go up from Kim's ass to like her making out on his lap. And I was like, okay, all's happy in Alora Grant's house. And we cut to our girls. Okay, the architecture of their law firm is like the layout of this building. I couldn't tell you what the exterior of this building looks like. Room to room, it makes no sense.
None whatsoever.
None. But we're in this strange room that's like a library that they seem to have Nobu delivered to at every single lunch. Every time I'm like, okay, are they just ordering from Nobu in Malibu and they're bringing it to this office wherever it's at every day?
Very likely, yes.
Yeah, what are they billing here? But we find out it's the 10-year anniversary of them stepping away from the patriarchy and starting Grant, Ronson, and Green. Okay, I had to make sure I got it right, GRG. Their firm. If they get merch, I might need to get a mug.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. I want like a little desk sign.
Yes! Oh my God. I would love that. I would love that. And they're toasting all of their success in the 10 years. And we end with Alora saying, okay, but because they go around like saying their favorite case. She's like, my favorite case will always be the next case. I was like, oh, come on, Alora. And we see the frame of we're about to meet Milan carrying an edible arrangement. I already knew who this was from because it's only cantaloupe and melon, the worst two fruit that you can ever get. And then like
some sad birthday candles.
I know. They're like uneven. They're wobbly.
Yeah.
And here's the letter that Carrington wrote. She was like, she calls them backstabbing bitches. And she was like, I've made the top 100 so often they should name the goddamn list after me. And we cut to Carrington writing this note. This has to be so fun playing this part.
Yes, Sarah Paulson is clearly having the time of her life, which is the correct thing to do when you were cast in a show like this and given lines that she has been given. Have the most possible fun with it, because otherwise it doesn't work.
But we find out she's allegedly, like, brushed the arrangement with salmonella and fecal matter, which I was like, oh my God. And then we end her, like, writing the note with this, like, insane screenshot of her, like, lunging across the table. And they're just, like, ha-ha-heeing about that. And we find out, so Milan is their receptionist, and Laura's asking her if she's still taking the bar this spring. She tells her to sit in while they talk about their next case. And the next person is named Grace Henry, their new divorce case. And we get the background of her story of her marrying this multimillionaire. It's very funny the way they talk about it, like, oh, she gets diamonds, pearls, planes, like, love bombing. They all say in unison.
The buzzwords in this show are, like, out of control. Once again, I'll say it a million times. This show tonally it's challenging. And we'll get into this, like, more, but, like, it's camp. But also, it's camp in, like, 3 different ways. Like, camp unintentionally, camp intentionally, and then camp in, like, a third meta way, which is, like, you can tell that they thought they were going for purposeful camp, and it accidentally missed the mark and veered off into excessively bad, but therefore it's camp.
And it circles back. It's all a circle. And, like, and then Tiana gives a very funny look to her as she's exiting about that, and I was like, oh no, I think something's going on here. And she's going down the hall and she gets a text from Chase, Alora's husband, saying, I can still smell you on me. Now, I was disappointed because we had said when we recap the trailer, I had hoped that this was a ruse. I had hoped that she was, like, being used as a way to, like, get dirt on Chase. And
yes, I had the same hope as well.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they were sleeping together. And we are met with our first guest of the season. Cut back to Meryl Streep, her daughter, Grace Gummer, playing Grace. And she comes in. Now, one of the major fashion things I started to notice, which I think is funny because it is set in LA, they're all wearing gloves.
Yeah, lots of gloves.
There's lots of gloves for a city where it is, I don't know, it's 75 degrees outside right now. It was 90 degrees last week. So very fascinating that it's like nonstop. And once you notice one character wearing gloves, you'll see everyone is wearing gloves on this show. But we find out plot twist, her husband, he was into other dalliances, and he introduced a third, and she fell in love with the third. And that's
I kind of love that. Love that for her.
Obsessed. I was like, great, no notes. All lesbians here. So she is wanting the divorce so she and Emma can be together. Incredible. No notes. And she's like, but I'm the bad one here. And then Emerald maybe has like all of the lines of the show that are like the laugh lines. Because she's like, he Rapunzeled your ass. And I was like, succinct. He did. He made you a kept woman. He Rapunzeled you. I don't know that I've heard Rapunzel in a verb like that before. And now I will have to moving forward. And she was like, you don't worry about it. We're Mama Grizzlies. You let us worry about the wolf. And GRG is ready to go. They're like ready to sink their teeth in, because if there's anything they're going to do is they're going to take men down. And I'm on it. We're ready for it. And we see that Liberty gets a phone call from No Caller ID. And we cut to next guest star of the episode. Judith Light is like buried in some fancy bedroom. We have no idea where, and we hear a man yelling off screen at her. Her name is Sheila, and she's like, I need a California lawyer. I'm in New York, but we're married in California, and we have a house in Montecito, so technically they can file under California law. Now California law, I know, is like, there's a reason why I think a lot of rich men don't like to be married here, because
women have more rights under California law.
Because I think it's after 10 years you get half of everything.
Okay.
So there's a reason why men will then try to fight it out of California. And she's is trying to say that he's wanting a divorce because he bought himself a Rembrandt and is wanting that, but then we find out he's upset over a small flirtation, but we're not getting the full story quite yet of what's going on. And she hasn't given her name yet to Liberty. She's like, my name is Sheila Baskin. And Liberty is fascinating to me because I'm like, how does she know all of this stuff? She's like, oh, your husband's Theodore Baskin of Phoebe Inc. He owns all of cosmetics. And this is not the first, the last time we're going to see this from her in a second.
No.
And he's yelling, and she is Sheila, open up. She's like, get here. And she tells her, she's like, okay, but the jewelry you got. She's like, I know you have a lot of taste. And she's like, oh, they're in my safe, in my dressing room, off the bedroom, and here, conveniently. All of the jewelry is in the room that she locked herself in. And we see Naomi get onto this private jet that the firm has. That's all wooden. And she tells, and they are like, would you like a bottle of wine? She's like, not right now, but when I land, I'd like Mr. Chow Noodles, which is a very bouge restaurant in LA.
Yeah.
And so, all right, we're taking the jet from LA to New York on a moment's notice. And we see her in the first Luann de Lesseps fedora of the episode. You will see, this is not the last.
Nope.
Just the
Certainly
first.
Not.
And she talks to this security guard outside of their building. He's like, that she's here to see Sheila. He's like, I've given specific instructions that she's not to be disturbed. And then we get the next silliest Ryan Murphy line. You see, my flight was turbulent, and so is my mood. So she better come in. And then we get Richard.
Oh boy.
Now, here's my Sex and the City thought. I was like, is this karma for Samantha? That we're now Richard, in my head, the canon is that Richard is getting dragged for everything he did to Samantha.
I mean, probably. You can't tell me that, most of the people working on this show don't have a deep, intimate knowledge of Sex and the City. So, this casting was perfect, and if not directly purposeful, they were probably what kind of guy would play this part? Somebody probably was he's Richard Wright from Sex and the City. So yes, I think either indirectly or maybe even directly, yes, justice for Samantha Jones.
Oh yeah, and he was Tech Avail, so they got Richard, and we find out she's like, oh, you must be Mr. Baskin. I'm Liberty Ronson, and we find out she cheated on him with the chef at Le Bernardin, and the New York Post, I always love a New York Post cover. They're always insane, and I love that they got to do something like this for the show because they're always very funny. Sex Lives of the Rich and Sloppy, incredible shot of Judith Light, I gotta say.
Yeah,
if you're gonna get caught by the Paps, that's a good shot, a good angle. And this guy looks like Josh Hartnett. I can't tell who they're going for.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And he was like, I told her she ever cheated or caused me any form of public humiliation. and that she would get nothing. And so we now cut to Liberty is now in the bedroom with Sheila. She's been let in there. And she's just like, how did I let this happen to me? And we get the gorgeous shots of the jewels. Just diamonds, diamonds, diamonds everywhere. And this made me cackle. So they're all like jewelry that he's given her when he wasn't there for something. And this one I thought was like, sorry, I missed your MRI. She gets like a diamond. And Judith is shocked when she's telling her, she's like, we'll get you a sale at Christie's and a new life. And then she says she'll get $40 million. Big shock. And then she's like, so I won't starve now. I was like, baby, you were never going to starve.
You were never going to starve.
Judith Lay, you are never going to starve. Again, of course she goes, she's like, I went 3 or 4. She's like, girl, you know why they call me the big dick? And I love every line from Emerald.
I know.
They're so funny. God, I love Niecy Nash. I
know.
love her.
She's a treasure. She really is.
Yeah. And we find she's like, well, I trailed him for. It sounds like, again, how much time has passed since they started this case?
It's time in the show again. Yeah, it's fluid.
Nothing.
Don't pay too much attention.
Don't pay too much attention. But we get a shot of her taking pictures out of like a massive car of him. And we see him entering. Now, we're going to get a shot of him in a minute. It took me the entire episode and also going on IMDb to realize that Grace's husband was Stephen Pasquale. Because he has dyed his hair in a color that I don't know that's my favorite.
I also had to double check. I was like, is that? It is. It is.
It is. We find out the building is owned by a Devin Elisa Martino. And this insane photo. It looks like a headshot.
It does.
From the 90s that Emerald has found out she spends a lot of money at an online retailer called Extreme Bondage, and she's a dominatrix. Boom. And she's like, well, we know you can't use that in court, but like find a way. You have to figure out how we can use it now. And we just have to know how to turn it the right way. Again, glove spotting. More gloves. She's wearing white gloves this time. And they
she's about to deliver a Sattva mattress.
Exactly. And she's like, let's put the fucking team in teamwork and get this bastard. And they like do a handshake and a snap at each other before they leave. And it's just the best show on television. And we cut back to Liberty, and they've gone out of the house with these like fancy like little like makeup cases full of jewelry, and he's like, I want to see what it is.
Goyard travel cases.
I know. Little travel cases. And basically she explains to him there's no takesies backsies based under the law, so she's gonna keep the jewelry. Now, he says, did you ever really love me? And I have to say, this is when I was like, Judith Light is incredible because she's in the 30 seconds in this close-up, she has 2 tears that go down her face while she tells him, she's like, I only slept with him because of the way he looked at me and I loved you. And it's like, she turns it on. Like, it is crazy to watch. It is a masterclass. And then as soon as she turns it on, she's like, but not now. I was like, what?
I know!
Because he was like, almost like, oh, is she going to come back? The way that she had responded. And then she's like, but not now. And she was done. This was incredible.
I can't prove this, but I want to believe in my heart that she did that in one take. First take, same. Only take.
I mean, it was like, to see, like, I was like, wow, the 1 tear on this cheek, and then it was 1 on the other. It was magnificent.
It's incredible work.
The Olympics of acting.
She never fucking misses. She really never fucking misses.
She never fucking misses. And it was, God, I'm thrilled she's here. Suddenly we're back in LA. Liberty has made her way back to the other coast, and Laura is waiting for her in this like crocodile print like fit. And they're going, she's keeping her up to date with everything that's happened with Grace. We find out that he's got a dominatrix, and they're like, why is it that rich men are always so bloody predictable? And they're going to dominatrix headquarters from cocktails to cock rings, all in one 24-hour period. God, all of these jewels. And I can only imagine in the writer's room, they're just like high-fiving each other with like all of these lines of dialogue.
Yeah. Everybody's drunk in that writer's room, and I respect it. They're all fucking drunk. I will say this, and I love Naomi Watts, and I don't want to, besmirch her talents because I think she's very talented. I will say I think she's the weakest link in this show. I think this show toes a fine line, and like I actually think she's a weaker like than Kim K, unfortunately. Like I read some review that's like she hasn't really figured out who her character is, and I agree with that. She's a little bit like I don't know. It's sort of like both inconsistent and boring, but like go off, girl, whatever.
I think like she's not having fun like the rest of them quite yet. I think she hasn't relaxed.
Yes,
I think it's
agree with that.
It's very like I know they're saying that Kim is stiff, but I'm like Kim is having fun. I think Kim is like having a good time, and I think not that Naomi's not having a good time, but I think it's taking a little bit more for her to lean into the camp of it and like the melodramatic of all of that. Okay, so we get this incredible needle drop of the girls as players too as they like exit the car. They're walking up to Kate Berlant's building. And they're like, we want to talk to her. She's like, and she comes out in the most insane fit. Like, Kate is perfect for this universe. She's like so well cast for this.
She is.
She's like, would you like to book a salt scrub? And then immediately switches her tune. She's like, okay, well, you're not jealous wives. Don't come in pairs. And then, of course, everyone is familiar with their law firm. And we're in a universe where everyone knows these lawyers, and they're intimately familiar with like all of them.
I know. I was trying to think about this. I was like, I don't know that I could name a currently very prominent law firm. Even if they were in the public eye a great deal, I don't think I could do it. Like, if we're talking about like public eye lawyers, I think I could probably only say Robert Kardashian.
And they're like, well, business is how I unwind. It's just, I was like, of course it is, Allura.
I feel like all of this show is like what was going to be a screenshot on Evan Ross Katz's Instagram like the entire time.
And the riddle is all of it. Every single screenshot. And the first thing we go into the dungeon is we see the butt plug.
Massive butt plug.
Massive butt plug on display. This whole room, I was like, wow, the DP on this really had a wild time building a sex dungeon for this, like, 2-minute shot that we had. And the lighting,
the chair,
there's like an interrogation light over Kate Berlant while she's like talking to them and is like trying to tell them, she's like, I'm not going to give you any information. I've had people come left and right, and they tell her, they're like, I'll change your fucking life. I'll give you 10% of like what happens when we get the settlement. And they like tell her the story again that it's like he's getting in the way of 2 women being together, and she finally opens up and she's like, he was into some deviant shit, which is like, oh boy, how far are we talking? Like, I have no idea at this point. Steven, who did this to you?
Yeah, that's a just for men box that we applied in the shower.
Or like a bad wig.
Either way, yes.
But we're here with Steven and his wig, and they're like, and his lawyer is trying to tell them, we've done a favor by meeting you here on your turf. And this insane outfit, they're talking, like, all 3 of them, like, Kim is in this, like, insane...
I know.
moment with, like, also then Nini's got, like, a veil on her hat. Like, everything is so crazy.
I didn't realize that she does. Oh, my God.
This guy, this old white man, he's like, do you want to bang this out at trial? So then this causes Allura to take the gloves off, literally. And it's like, okay, well, I never like to be the first one, but since you want war... and Stephen Pasquale's character tries to tell us, like, you know, I'm an innovator, I'm a transgressive, everyone is trying to, like, you know, get information out on me, there's nothing that you can put out there that, like, I haven't heard already. And then the butt plug heard around the world is put on their screen, and they're like, what is this? And Emerald tells us an anal simulator, a favor to your clients. Here it is next to a traffic cone.
I just, like, it looks like they went to, like, a Sears with these objects, and we're like, hey, real quick.
After our holiday pictures, can you get the picture of the butt plug and the traffic cone? And then Naomi gets, it's a butt plug. Is that correct, Mr. Lee? Oh my God, so many gems. And he's like, you, my dear, are going to be humiliated. And then we find out what was worse. He dressed as a filthy pig, and then the other people sucked on his teats.
Yes. And at first I was like, let us see the picture. And then I was like, you know what? You know what? Let us imagine it. It's better if we imagine it.
Correct. That makes me think of, was it Black Mirror, like the original season, where the prime minister, like, had sex with a pig? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And then her tagline for Allura, love and war, you chose war, and we won it.
So here's where I wrote in my notes, I'm pretty sure this isn't even remotely how the law works, because I think this is all just illegal espionage and blackmail. But whatever.
I respect. I respect it. I was like, you know what? If you don't need to get the courts involved, you can just blackmail them. Great.
Fine.
You're still getting your money somehow. We have this, like, also, like, what is this, like, skyline behind that? I really can't place where we're at.
It looks like the art teacher from high school, like, painted some, like, set dressing for Annie for, like, the NYC scene.
Oh my god. NYC! And then we get to, they have a victory fizz, and Grace tells them, you saved my life, and this is when Emerald says, like, come on, Gloves, you're gonna make me cry. And we just have, like, a nice little moment. They get to toast. Justice, all is right in this world. The men were destroyed. We're in a good place. We think, like, everything is great. And we cut back to Allura's headquarters. Smith Jared Jr. is back, and he tells Allura, can we sit down and talk? And I just immediately felt bad for her, because it's like, this is one of those, like, gaslighty conversations where it feels like, where they tell you, you should have known this was bad the whole time, and you're like, wait, no, you just, like, really swooped in and did this to me.
Yeah, it felt very abrupt and weird and confusing.
Yeah. And she's like, of course, she's like, you're just having a bad day. Like, what's the matter here? And he's like, I'm drowning here with you. It's like he's just, like, inventing all of this to catastrophize it because he just wants it to be done.
Yeah.
And make it all her fault. And I loved, like, this response. And she's like, you're famous. You have 3 Super Bowl rings. Like, how are things bad for you? And then she's like, oh, but my life is too rich for that little Philly kid. It's like now trying to flip it that, like, everything, because Allura wants more for herself, it's bad, which I hate. I hate that so much.
Not a good sentiment.
And he's like, because next to you, I feel hopelessly and ridiculously small. So it's like, oh, because she's a woman with ambition, she has to shrink herself to make you feel better and to, like, boost your ego.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. And he says, I want a divorce. And he's seen somebody else.
Yeah, this whole thing felt like it came, like, fully out of left field. Which, like, at first I was like, this seems like a flaw in the show. Yeah. But, like you said, it's like, you know, we've all had that conversation with somebody we're dating where we're like, I'm sorry, you have all these fucking problems since when?
Where did this, because you were fine 2 days ago when you gave me the Elizabeth Taylor ring.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What's happened between the Elizabeth Taylor ring and now? And we cut to the girls. They're in their rich car. They're ready to check on our girl Allura, where she's in this, like, insane fur coat by the fire. God. To be rich sometimes, just for, like, a day.
I know. I felt this way watching the entire show. All 3 episodes, I was like, ugh, I know it's bad to be this rich. Like, it's, like, not, like, morally sound to be this rich, but it looks so comfortable.
It looks so nice.
Everybody's bathroom must be so clean all the time.
And the girls meet in a huge embrace with, like, these wild chandeliers in the
outdoor, no less.
Yeah. Very shocking. Emerald, they're all, like, lounging on each of these chaise lounges having this conversation, and she's like, I'm gonna cut off that big Philly dick. I was like, yeah, you should. Lorena bobbed his ass. And Liberty says the line, it's like, yeah, weak men just can't handle strong women. And it's just like, it's like even, you know, Kim Kardashian's fictional, it's just, I don't know. You think about it over and over again, we see, it's always shocking when it happens. Like, I mean, I even think about Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban. It's like, you can be Nicole Kidman and they're still going to look for a younger version of you. Yeah. Or be threatened by you. And it's just like, I don't know. Again, like we said, there's, like, a lot of, like, insanity of this show. But, like, this just, like, hit home in a certain way where it is, like, this thing that sometimes in relationships you see women where, like, they have to, like, shrink themselves for their ego.
I mean, this is where it occurred to me, like, Kim Kardashian also has gone through extremely high profile, I'm sure painful divorces. And what I find sort of fascinating about this, and I don't think Kim is doing as bad a job as everyone writing the reviews says. That being said, though, it is sort of fascinating to me, and we'll see more of this as we go along, that she doesn't seem to be accessing a lot of, like, actual stuff in her life she could pull from.
I know.
Like, not to go all, like, Uta Hagen, Konstantin Stanislavski on your ass, but, like, substitution is a valid, exactly, A is for acting. Substitution is a valid acting technique. If you can't, like, get into the emotional stakes that were presented to you in the script, use your own fucking shit. And she has so much of it. She has such a rich, deep well of it that, like, I'm curious to see, I don't know what order they shot these episodes in, but I'm curious to see as we go along if she gets better at pulling from her own real emotional life, because this shit actually has happened to her. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see somebody playing a role that you're like, a lot of this shit actually has happened to you, but I'm not seeing a ton of that coming through in your performance. But maybe we'll get there.
Yeah, let's hope. We'll see.
Let's hope.
And Laura tells us, she's like, I always knew this exact moment would darken my doorstep. He was a younger man that I was with. Like, I knew he would leave me. And I was like, oh, it's just, like, such a dagger to hear that, like, I don't know. It just, you hear, like, just, again, a very successful woman just then constantly still not think 100% of herself that she's, like, worthy of this person that she's married to, and that's just... And then this line also got me, where she's like, are the best years behind me? I was like, oh my god. I was like, no, they're not. They're not. Now that you've gotten rid of the dead weight, like, the best years are ahead of you.
Girl, you could spend the rest of your life just sitting in this house, and the best years would still be ahead of you.
Correct. Yeah, you wouldn't need to leave. And Liberty reminds her, like, we are saying the best is yet to come. Fuck no. And then Emerald, they get into this interesting conversation. She's like, this right here is about character. And she says, you don't have a good picker. Which is like, ooh, that is like the worst thing like a friend can say to you is like, you don't have a good picker. Like, you can't pick good men. Yeah, I mean, it's true though for a lot of people. I know, and it's also like, and I feel like often that is reflected then probably, we don't know about with this with like Laura's character yet, like has she like done the therapy work of like, because I feel like often that is always like mixed into like issues that you haven't addressed or you're like working through. And I can't believe it's taken us almost an hour of recording to talk about whether or not this character has been in therapy. That's a really long time for us. You know what? That's a new record. But then Emerald brings up this, like, but the truth of the matter is that, like, maybe, like, this whole thing is just, like, about control. And, like, because she asked them, like, why didn't you say, if you didn't like Chase, why didn't you say anything to me? And they're like, I guess, like, deep down I thought it was brave that you, like, loved this man and you were being vulnerable. And I thought this was just, like, interesting. I don't know. I really liked this scene a lot, and like just sort of like the dynamics of female friendship and like what that can mean, like when you are talking to your friends, like, and you find out they haven't liked your partner and like all this stuff. I don't know, there's just, because that is like a very raw part of a friendship where you have to like talk about that, because it's like there is that sense of like, oh, but I also want you to be happy, and I can like keep that to myself, and it's like I'm not going to say anything unless like it is endangering. It's like it's a very, you know, difficult line to toe. It's hard to watch somebody you care about like make what you think is a mistake, but also it's like, it's a good thing to do in a friendship to be like, you know what, I trust that this person is capable of like handling this, and that I will be there to support them, but like I'm not going to stop them from doing what they want to do. Exactly. And she's like, well, I settled, and this was because of what? Low self-esteem. And Emerald reminds her, she's like, well, now you know. So now you know you can do better. And I think that is, like, the best way to, like, frame this sort of thing. It's like, you know what? This was bad, but, like, now you have this information. Use it and don't make that mistake again. And it's like, okay, I love that. I was like, these are good friends. These are very good friends giving very sound advice, which is, I guess, why they're in legal professions, that they're able to, like, give this advice. And they're like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go to New York. We're going to go to Sheila Baskin's auction, get on the PJ, and we're going to get you a nice, filthy, expensive piece of jewelry. I was like, wow, again, must be nice. And I was like, I would love that. I would love that. And then we cut to Smith Jarrett Jr., and he's pulling up in his car, And we have to assume he's going to Milan's house, and she looks so hot.
I know. She looks amazing.
Like, Tiana looks crazy. Making out stupidly. And she's like, does Allura know? Not yet. And she was like, okay, but she's gonna, like, flip. And he was like, I was like, this man is obsessed with Allura. He's like, in the words of Allura Grant, all's fair in love and war. And then we cut to Milan going down. She's gonna give him
It made me upset that the first time we hear all's fair in love and war, the titular expression that the show is named after it coming out of this motherfucker's mouth, that annoyed me.
I know. I hate that this man has so much presence, but we made it to the end of the pilot. I mean, a lot happened. We have a lot to, like, chew on moving forward. Like, obviously, we haven't seen Dina in a bit. We haven't seen Carr in a bit. So, like, I'm excited to get into these next episodes. Like, how are you feeling at the end of the pilot?
I mean, like, so many different ways, but, like, the main one being, like, yeah, is this show gonna be, like, critically acclaimed? Absolutely not. And that has already been very much proven. And like I said, it's doing 3 different camps at once. Intentional, unintentional, and then also this weird third one of, like, they really thought they were going for camp, and then it was just bad, but then bad's also camp. So, it's an interesting watch. It's a weird fun time, but I like how much fun everyone's having, and I'm sad. I'm ready to watch the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah. I think, like, also, I'll say what I appreciate about All's Fair, like, thinking about, like, we covered in Just Like That. I appreciate how they're leaning so far into the insanity, because I think there was, like, a sense with, like, in Just Like That, and obviously we're dealing with, like, existing IP and characters that people have, like, huge attachments to. If they were going to be that insane, I just wish they had, like, leaned into it in the way that this show has. Because I think that was a frustration, was, like, with And Just Like That, was, like, they're trying to act like they were serious, but, like, it was camp. And so it was, like, it never fully settled into whatever thing it was.
No. And the only other thing I'll say about All's Fair, the fact that this show was released right after Gay Halloween is such a crime.
I know.
Everybody make your pick about who you're being for next Gay Halloween from this show, because I guarantee we're gonna see some fashion fedoras next Halloween.
Oh, yeah. Or we see some people in the edible arrangement. And like the can, yeah. I hate Gay Halloween. What do you mean you're the edible arrangement of just cantaloupe and melon from All's Fair?
Smeared with salmonella and shit.
Oh my god, well, we made it to the end of the pilot. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to be recapping the rest of the season. Thank you for joining us in Just Like Yap. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at @AndJustLikeYap. And subscribe so you can stay up to date. Let us know in the comments, what are you thinking about the show? What are you feeling about the fashions? Are you bringing gloves back? I'd love to know. Are we wearing gloves this fall? Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you soon.
Bye-bye.